Thank you for taking your time to do this World Service. This is World Service with this interview.
Thank you very much.
So, could you tell us a little about the name of your group and what is your name and what your group is doing?
Absolutely. Our center is called Center for Living Wisdom, and we are rooted in the Theosophical tradition, but we have developed into new expressions, so we don't use the name of Theosophy in our name any longer. We are very much focused on facilitating soul growth, and we more and more focus on how we can find ways to make space for people to experience meditation and self-discovery, and how to contact their soul purpose.
Okay.
And we very much appreciate having also international teachers coming to our center. We try to focus on new areas that we can develop. For instance, a more practical approach to the psychology of the 7 rays that we call holotypology.
Yeah, I heard about holotypes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's one area, but we also try to find ways to create space for people to experience that they can come in our center and find room for their heart, and also the mind can explore realities without getting into a confined box, so to speak. And it's a very delicate balance, because we are rooted in a teaching.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are very oriented towards the integral movements and Lucille Cederkranz and many other teachers internationally that we try to integrate into our facets of what we explore in our center.
Okay. Could you tell us a little about what it means to a center to be a part of this World Service Intergroup?
Absolutely. We became member of WSI 3 years back, and it has always been very important for our center to be in contact with many other similar or like-minded spiritually seeking groups, because the problem always arises when you get too narrow-minded, because you get used to meeting the people you know already, and you just confirm your faith and your beliefs and your convictions and so on. So it's a great privilege, and it fills us with gratefulness to meet people who are from completely different areas of the earth and who have other ideas of how to practice. So we are curious, and it almost always also creates new contacts that we can invite to our center, and we can go to new places.
Okay. How does the fact that World Service Intergroup is a global network, how does, if it affects your center, how does it affect the work of your center?
Well, as I said before, we invite people that we would never have invited if we had not been part of this whirl of intermingling threads of light. So it gives us ideas, and I observe again and again how amazing it is when we get people to our center that, wow, we didn't have a clue that they could come there, and suddenly they arrive in Aarhus in Jutland, and we are very happy.
Yeah. A key concept in this teaching of the Tibetan is this concept of the reappearance of the Christ, or whatever you call it. What is your understanding of this phenomena?
I perceive it as a multi-layered reality. First of all, I would say that the coming of the Christ must be the blooming of the heart in you and me.
Okay.
Because Christ represents the love nature in each human being. So the coming of the Christ at a very tangible level is the new emerging heart priority, you could say, that when we really realize that the heart values have to be core values in our life and our society, I would consider that one part of the reappearance of the Christ.
Okay.
But of course, esoteric tradition also talks about a manifestation of an avatar, and I'm not looking for a person to show up with a flag. To me, the reappearance of the Christ must be something that is not as we expect it to be. And we are used to expect something to come like it did last time, you know. A person appears, and wow, there he is, and he wears sandals and white clothes and long beard and so on. So to me, the reappearance of the Christ could well express itself as a group manifestation of many people around the world with a great depth of realization, and behind that the Christ consciousness could be working. So that's another level of it.
Okay, yeah. How would you see when this let's say this reappearance has happened? How do you see the world? What does the world look like when it has happened? When it has happened,
yeah. We will no longer be in a situation where peace is a dangerous issue and we are really struggling for peace. There will be problems, there will be challenges, there will be a lot of cleaning up, a lot of reorientation going on. But to me, we have to make the groundwork. We have to make the basics work, and for me this means that right human relations is becoming a world determining factor and not something in the periphery of the consciousness of mankind. So
can you elaborate on that? A world determining factor, is that some kind of government?
I mean literally that we will see in the medias who covers what goes on, that positive trends have much more space, that reconstructing societies and the way people live is much more clearly manifested as a positive constructive factor, and not as much focus on the disaster aspect and the conflict aspect. And also, to me, more and more individuals becoming empowered to take leadership in their own life, and not to be led around by collective energies and manipulations that keep them in prison with their minds and their psyche. So that's definitely a part of it.
Talking about collective energies, we all live in a culture and are conditioned by this culture in some way. Do you see any special challenges or maybe possibilities in this Danish culture? Maybe regarding this reappearance of the Christ.
I long to see more people in the political field who are freed from the strategies and who clearly puts an agenda for hard values, uncompromisingly putting it on the table, and not being lured into the strategy, manipulating, spin doctoring. It is so tiring, and I really hope I will be able to more and more discover new politicians on the arena. That's one aspect, but of course also we tend to take a very European perspective in our medias, and a little too narrow-minded perspective on what goes on. Perhaps also a little colored with the laziness of Danish welfare. I'm ready to give my share to have less wealth. And I think many people think that they have been fighting for getting this wealth, so no way we will give anything away for the poor population in the world. That's some of the challenges I can see.
Do you see any possibilities? Is there something in our culture that's maybe can is of value in this work, global work? world service?
We need to find new ways to communicate and to lessen the laziness and all the ways business as usual works. I think we need to see how we can activate people in new ways. We're so flooded with information that people get information lazy in a way. So ways to engage people, I don't have the key to that, but I'm always looking for how we can break that barrier and how we can encourage people to engage and not just become passive. So and also in our center we try to have our eyes focused on that. Not that we can do much, but we can do our share in preparing the way for a new awareness of how to be an active citizen and not pretend, not just be active when you are in spiritual circles and then you have to go out in this horrible materialistic society, but how can you sound out your note everywhere where you are.
Okay. Thank you very much, Søren. Now, the interview is over, but if there's anything, maybe you're working on something, anything you would like to share. I know you have a big passion for Shakespeare, for instance.